Basically, what I did is try to replicate the structure of a classic glass of white wine. Ciao to everybody, my name is Fabrizio Candino. I come from Palermo, Sicily, and I'm here to show you my cocktail, my In-Vite cocktail that I present for Italicus, Art of ITALICUS 2023. So this drink is all about hospitality. So I start to get inspired by the Italian art of hospitality. So far, I'm inspired by wine structure. Mix it with stale bread. So it's interesting how these two things, so Italicus and bread crust and yeast, can mix together, creating a unique and original cocktail with a really interesting and unusual taste and aroma. A little bit. So, first of all, let's show the mixing glass. And let's start with the first ingredients. So that, of course, will be Italicus. We will use 40 ml for each cocktail. And this will give you an interesting note of citrus, bergamot, lavender, cedar, and a slightly bitter aftertaste. Then, let's start pouring my bread cordial, ready starting from stale bread. I will use 50 ml. This will give to my drink a bread crust, scent, and aroma, and 15 ml of fresh cedar juice that I associate with those acids that we often find in wine in order to recreate not just sourness but also astringency, pungency. So in order to get in close to the concept of sparkling wines. So then, for dilution, I don't want to waste any water. So far, I measured the perfect amount of ice. That is 30 grams. And I mix the cocktail until ice completely melted in order to reach the perfect balance between temperature and dilution, bringing this cocktail down to 11 ABV, that actually is totally in line with the alcohol content of a classic glass of white wine, and the temperature that is around 3 and 4 degrees Celsius during preparation, and 10 degrees during the tasting. Meanwhile, I just fill the glass with wine. Almost there. And now that we reach the perfect temperature, we're gonna pour into a siphon, a twisted sparkle siphon, and we'll carbonate it. So in this way, bubble that, in my idea, recall the universal idea of what an aperitivo is. And bubble that is perfect because lead us to the concept of wine, sparkling wine, but also it's perfect because it's like a tiny bubble that brings out all the flavor. In this case, the Italicus flavor, the bergamot note, the cedar note, but also the bread crust scent and aroma of my cordial. balancing also the minerality and acidity of the cedar that we put. Okay, and now, so this is my cocktail for Italicus. This is In-Vite. Salute! The idea is to bring out not only flavor, taste, but also memory. So in your nose, you will have interesting notes of citrus, especially bergamot, but also mixed with an incredible and intense sense of fresh bread crust and yeast. So I have an idea of me walking late in the night through the tiny street of Palermo when my nose gets catches by the unmistakable aroma of fresh baked bread coming from an old bakery thereabouts. So the idea is to take this memory, this scent, and convert into liquid. So the scent, the flavor, the aroma that we will have is exactly this one. So to prepare my bread cordial that I call actually my breaking bread cordial, I start from stale bread, this time maybe to the thresher. So just toast it in a pan with spices such as thyme, gentian, salt, oil, pepper. Then I pour into a vacuum bag with a natural spirit like vodka. Then I infuse for 48 hours at room temperature or 12 hours in sous vide at 50 degrees. After that, I just filter first with a strainer, then with a coffee filter, then dilute with water and a little bit of sugar to balance and mix all the ingredients all together. The cocktail is called In-Vite. In-Vite in Italian refers to the grape. In Italian, grape is vita, so In-Vite. But in English, invita become invite. So the concept is referred to an invitation, so to invite someone at our table, at our bar, at our home. To prepare this cocktail, the only thing that you will need is time. I mean, it's a cocktail though for a competition. Doesn't mean that it's an hard cocktail to prepare. But the only thing to prepare, and in specific, my cordial, my bread cordial, you will need um, 48 hours. So relax, just do your shift and your duties, and take your time, of course. This is the only thing that maybe could be like a little bit tricky because you will need, of course, if you don't have sous vide, if you don't have a runner, you will need like at least 2 nights for the to have like a proper infusion and extract all the flavor from the bread and the bread crust. So the inspiration behind the drink was to represent my being. So I'm Italian and Sicilian too, and I want to just use the classic stereotype of what people think about Italy. So like pizza, pasta, mandolino. I was looking for a bigger um, art form that could represent myself as a bartender, as a Sicilian, and as Italian. So the drink is inspired by a less conventional art form, is the Italian art of hospitality. So I try to just move this concept into liquids, representing hospitality in a cocktail, which is the symbol that best represents this beautiful concept of invitation. In my opinion, wine. Wine is something that is like basically at the base of Italian culture. So the idea is thinking on hospitality. I start from the wine, but I create a proper cocktail using Italicus and a cordial made with bread, with stale bread, that in some way recall the yeast of the classic sparkling wine, the champagne, and Metodo Classico. And at your nose, when you will smell the cocktail, you will have this incredible and delicious mix of flavor and aromas between Italicus and bread crust, bringing your mind on a different way and approach to the cocktail. So you are not just drinking a cocktail. You are drinking something more, something deeper. You're drinking maybe wine, maybe a spritz, maybe a classic cocktail. But this cocktail is all about your memories, about all this flavor that came out from the glass, will making your mind happen. So Italicus nowadays, in modern days, is basically what an aperitivo is, especially if you mix the concept of aperitivo and Italy. So imagine like the land of aperitif that we just invented. The most important cocktails in aperitif style. Imagine like let's talk about a Negroni. So now things change, and Italicus for me is like the perfect way to enlace a new trend. It's like a new way to think about aperitif. And actually, I love the brand because every time I move all around, coming especially from South Italy, and I smell Italian in some way. It smells like my origin, my roots. For me, it's like winning a competition with Italicus. For me, it represents a really big opportunity to travel all around the world, to meet new people, to create a network with bartenders from all over the world. It's the chance to develop not just me professionally, but also personally. And already it happened, competing with all these guys from different nations, I had the chance to meet these beautiful people from the United States, Norway, Spain, Greece. So it's an honor actually to be the one that won this competition, and I'm really, really glad to represent a brand that in some way is really connected uh, from me, from the truly me.